You have no right to doubt me. You don't get to say that, because that's giving me a certain form of privilege that you think that you own, because it is you, because you are such and such a person, whatever it is that you see. Nigerians, we don't know how to. Nigerians are not going to be doing "I hold you down." What? In Nigeria, what are you talking? In Nigeria is not, which level of loyalty is that? So me, I'll now come and go to jail. Now you will not be walking majestically on the road. So hi guys, how are we all doing today? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Chinyo of Julia Style Glam. If this is your first time here with me, thank you so much for being here. And if you already subscribed to this amazing channel, you are so welcome. How are we all doing? I'm aware we have some new members, so you guys, welcome to the family. I am so happy to see you. I'm so glad that we are connecting. So yeah, thank you all very much for subscribing. All right, so today we're going to be talking about Jussie Smollet. Jussie Smollett. Now, the thing is, the question, I'm going to throw out this question out there. And you guys, please feel free to put what your thoughts are, your opinions are in the comment section. Do you believe Jussie Smollett? Was that interview convincing enough? Was that documentary that he did with Netflix convincing enough? Is Jussie a victim of his own rows? Because it's happening. Again, we've got Tamar. Okay? So this is a thing, right? Has he become a victim of his own ruse, right? So we're going to put that all in the comment section, right? So why are we talking about this today? Well, as we all are aware, Jussie did the Netflix documentary, and I have a lot of mixed feelings. I won't lie to you guys. I have a lot of mixed feelings, excuse me. Okay, so like I was saying, it's a lot of mixed feelings for me. I wouldn't lie to you guys, because I don't know. I don't know. It's weird, as in I don't know. Anyway, so we're going to start from the things that, let's lay it out on the ground. Let's start from the base. So in 2019, I hope I'm right. No, it was in 2019. This was in the heart of COVID, right? Jussie was working on the hit series Empire at the time. Now, in 2019, this was after Trump had become president of the United States. And so Jussie says that he was attacked by, it was a racially motivated attack where he was accosted, and words in the corridors of MAGA, something, and then these guys jumped him, gave him a blow, and they dropped a noose around his neck. Now that noose story, that noose. Anyway, so a noose was dropped around his neck, and he picked up his Subway sandwich and started coming back home. He didn't want to call the police. His friend called the police, blah, blah, blah. And then we now get into what happened in the Jussie Smollett story. Now, from what we gathered, okay, according to the documentary didn't move, it didn't change, it didn't, the story, rather, let me use that word, the story didn't change. It was still the same, story about, how the Chicago PD, went on full investigation for Jussie. the Attorney General, everybody was on this matter. It had to be dealt with, and they had to get to the bottom of it and stuff like that. Now, all that and good. Now I have questions. Now, in the course of this, Chicago PD finds out that Jussie lied, right? And so I'm imagining that this documentary series was a way for us to see Jussie in a different way, was a way for us to see that Jussie wasn't lying, was a way for us to hear the things that hadn't been said or the things that we did not know about. Now, what didn't we know? According to the documentary, it says that Chicago PD lied. Okay. Now, we also find out from the documentary that there were two persons of interest, and these persons of interest were witnesses, which we never heard from. So we found out that there were two witnesses who saw what Jussie saw. And we also find out that that there were two other investigators from another country, I think presumably the UK, who decided to, go further, with the one question, why would this guy do what he did? Why would he have to lie? And so we also find out that Chicago PD, that the police officers who were in charge of this case, or the Chicago PD, had a history. One, they had 38 police officers who were detectives and supervisors who had allegations and complaints and sued for misconduct 16 times. They had sexual misconduct, shooting, and the city of Chicago had been paying out these sums over the last couple of years, selling drugs, and they had 563 misconduct allegations combined out of these 38 police officers who were supposed to be handling Jussie's case. Now, that is going to be, will easily prick our attention, right? Going by the resume of the police officers that, were involved in this case. Now, they also made us understand in the documentary that the Chicago PD ignored the witnesses' statements. And they also said that the video, that the CCTV video that they got, that the video jumped 10 seconds, so that there were 10 seconds lost. What happened in those 10 seconds? And the people who were investigating found material, right? Then they also said that Chicago PD was tampering with evidence and that DNA was found on the news, and we never heard of that. And we also heard that the Osundairo cut a deal because he was in possession of arms at the time of, this investigation, and he cut a deal with the Chicago PD. And though the Chicago PD, denied that claim and said there was no deal that was cut, and with Osundairo, and unfortunately, we also get to find out that Eddie Johnson, who was the person spearheading this investigation, was fired for drinking on the job just a few days to his retirement. Such a sad outcome. You see, when devil and village people are pursuing you, they come hard. They don't come slow. They come really hard. Okay, so let's break it down. Now, I have questions. So Jussie, while speaking, there were certain things that he said that I picked up on. And I don't know if a lot of you picked up on that, but I picked up on those things. One, Jussie said that that when the whole thing began to gain, when the news about his attack began to gain traction, right, on social media, everyone was sending him messages. We even have, I think, the former vice president, a lot of people were, pushing for Jussie, let Jussie justice, Jussie, we love you. And, added to the fact that he had become such a big deal on Empire. So again, he said, so he was having this love and this outpouring of love from everyone, It wasn't just the people in the industry, but from everyone. But Jussie said he was embarrassed and scared. Now, that, for me, is weird. Why? You are the victim, right? Why are you embarrassed? Why are you scared? That you have this outpouring of love and support for you in a matter of this sensitivity. Because again, this was also in the wake of George Floyd, right? All this was happening, and best believe that the whole Black community was going through something COVID, right? That period, it was hot in France, it was hot in the US, it was hot in every country that had Black people, right? So again, I'm just trying to understand why would you feel embarrassed and scared? Why would you be, the first question, why would you be embarrassed? I mean, you are openly gay. You're a proclaimed gay man. You've never hidden it, even in your representation in Empire. So it's not like it was new. It's not news for us. So I'm trying to understand why you said that you're embarrassed and scared. Why are you scared? That's, for me, that particular language speaks to me, that saying that, I have a theory, and my theory is this, that you got scared and you were embarrassed because you didn't think, or you didn't assume that it was going to gain this level of traction on the corridors of power, especially that it did. You thought that this was going to be something that happened around, and it was going to be handled, and without too much of a ruse, and then probably you thought it was going to die down, but you were not counting on that. That's my theory. I may be wrong, right? But whatever, tell me what you guys think in the comment section about that, about what he said when he said he's embarrassed and scared. Now, he also talked about his out-of-body experience. And the out-of-body experience was really scared me, because it was weird to me. The way he described it was, he said he saw himself like someone who was no longer alive. I don't know. It was pretty scary. And I won't say scary. It was weird. I don't know. It wasn't making a lot of sense to me. Now, again, his interview was a little bit shaky, right? Jussie's interview was shaky because how do you... And, he kept saying things like, my story has never changed. My story has never changed. It's still the same thing. And I'm thinking, as a listener and a consumer, in my mind, what I can decipher from your statement is that, well, if I say this often enough, right? If I say this often enough, I'll be believed. Like Monique, right? Because Jussie, you're not blind. You hear the tabloids. You know that everyone knows that Monique is saying the truth, and Monique's story hasn't changed. So why do I feel like you keep saying it, first of all, for you to believe it, and that if you believe it, we will believe it? Because then I question your interview that you had. You said that during that interview, you stalled more than once. And you said, Jussie, why would you have to over that? Because the stall wasn't like you stalled because you forgot, but you kind of stalled to be able to remember what it was that you were supposed to say, what your lines were supposed to, what you had told yourself. That's how it read to me. So that interview was a little shaky. And then you said something in the corridors of that this is what you said, and that I shouldn't doubt you, that we should not doubt you. And now that is asking a lot from us, right? From us who were not there during this attack. You see, Jussie, you have to make us there's a way you tell a story. There's a way that you give events that happen. You don't have to say, why do you have to lie? You don't have to even say things like, you have no right to doubt me. You don't get to say that, because that's giving me a certain form of privilege that you think that you own, because it is you, because you are such and such a person, whatever it is that you are, right? And that's what is that. These are the things I question. I'm questioning those languages, because telling me I have a right to, I have every right not to believe you if I choose, whether the facts are there or not. So telling me, being that forward and saying I have to, there's something else you're looking for, right? Okay. So again, you guys tell me what you think, or, write down tell me everything in the comment section. Now, I want to go to the fact that he used the Osundairo brothers. Those boys, they grew up in the US, but their character is very, very Yoruba demonic. I'm telling you. So because again, we have proof of the check, we have all those things, and Jussie said the check was for a herbal stimulant, blah, 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 which was supposed to be banned in the US. So if it is banned in the US, how do you want the Osundairo brothers to bring those goods in for you, right? If it's banned, because if it's banned in the US, then customs is going to hold them. I mean, it's logic, right? So how did you assume that they were going to bring it in? These are the questions I'm asking. When you know that, did your Osundairo brothers have a connection in customs that, maybe you didn't know, maybe they told you about, to bring that thing inside? Jussie? Because these are questions. You said it was a herbal stimulant that was bad, that is illegal in the US. How are they supposed to bring it in? Exactly. Now, I also feel, and this is me being completely, this is me as a Nigerian, I feel like Jussie got friendly with those boys, knowing fully well, believing the stereotype about Nigerians being scammers and whatever, which is not true, because not all Nigerians are scammers, and it's less than 1% of the population. I want to say that here categorically. But Jussie followed that stereotype with those Osundairo boys, right? And with the belief that they would do this job and that nobody was going to hear about it. Nobody was going to bother, because they were Nigerians. They had, he just had this belief that they had tough skin, thick skin, and they would do it for the right price. And, they were going to just disappear, and knowing that they would not want to be in the news, right? That's what I feel happened here. I feel like he kind of followed that thought process and said, okay, I'm going to look for the people that are going to do this thing for me, right? And they are the ones that I'm going to use, the Nigerians. They know how to be on the down low. They are this, they are that, that. And that was it. See? Anyway, so one thing, again, another question that got me, another question I had was, why was he hiding? Why was Jussie hiding? When he was being called for questioning, when he was being asked to give his phone records, all those things disappeared. He disappeared. We didn't see him. We didn't hear from him. And it's so weird because, again, you couldn't get him for questioning. He wasn't willing to be questioned. Nothing. And so, again, which takes me back to the interview where he says, you have no rights to doubt me. But you are the first person. You are the only one who saw this attack. There is every reason to question you because you are the one who gave the details about how the attack happened, Jussie. So when you now begin to hide and you do not want to show your phone records, okay, I don't think the police are, I think they understand confidentiality. I think it is one of the most important things that is being drummed into their ears as police officers. Let's not, let's forget about whether, it's Chicago PD or not. I think that's the first thing. And so they ask for your records to see those that you have been in interaction with over the course of time that could be, right, probably a danger to you, or probably somebody that wanted something from you of this nature or wanted to harm you. And I think it's logical. Right. So, again, the fact that you were nowhere found for anything. Again, I have questions, Jussie. Why were you hiding? And the Chicago PD now had to make you the aggressor. You went from being a victim to the accused to draw you out. And then even in the documentary, you are asking, what is happening? Why am I? Jussie, what is happening is that you did not appear for any of the questioning. Nothing that you were asked to do did you do. It's that simple. So if because something happened to you, you then decide that you are not the one to be questioned, because you said so, and that nobody should doubt you. I have every reason to doubt you, Jussie. Again, I'm just saying, I didn't say I don't know, because that's why we are here. We want to dissect this thing and really understand what is going on. I mean, do you guys believe him? Put it in the comment section. Let me hear from you guys. Now, something again that was weird to me. We all saw that video. If I find the video, I'm going to put it in this video here. We all saw the video of Jussie and the noose around his neck. Now, something that is true and that is ringing true is that something of that nature, something so abhorrent, something so repulsive gets on my body, right? The first instinct I have is to throw that thing away. The first instinct I have is to remove it from my person and not want it to touch me in any way, shape, or form. My skin will crawl. Jussie said that he brought it as evidence. Personally, I don't think he needed to do that. It was evidence. Leave it there. NYPD will find it. What am I saying? Why am I calling NYPD? Chicago PD will definitely go look for it. It's their job. That singular act of you carrying that noose around your neck till the police came. Jussie, if anyone had to say, okay, listen, I believe you, I don't believe you, that singular action cannot ring true. Jussie, that singular action cannot ring true. I can't understand as a person, as a black person, I can't, when I have watched Roots and all these other movies, and I did not experience this, I did not experience American slavery, But I have seen enough to be repulsed, to be angry, to be disgusted enough to know that if someone did that to me, I would definitely cry blue murder. At the same time, I will leave that thing there. Worst case scenario probably is take a photo. If I did have that, courage to do that at that point in time. But to carry it on my neck and take it to my hotel room, that's pushing the envelope. Anyway, we listen and we do not judge. So that is another one. Why would you do that? Why? And one thing also that is also quite worrisome is the fact that at the time, Chicago was experiencing sub-zero temperatures. They were having a polar vortex. And this polar vortex was not just in Chicago. We experienced the polar vortex here. It was experienced in France. It was experienced in almost all the countries in Europe. It was not just in Chicago. Now, during the polar vortex, it's like an alarm, and usually you're sent text messages on your phones, hear what to do, what not to do, how to keep warm, making sure that you are all in a room, keeping the heater on, ensuring that everyone is in warm clothes, do not stay long outside, and stuff like that. So, Jussie, this was during a polar vortex. I'm even looking at what you wore, because that thing I don't know, that polar vortex and that thing you wore, I don't know how warm that thing is, because that was a sweater. It could have been a wool sweater, but I'm wondering, I have questions, right? That aside. So this was during a polar vortex. You come out of your apartment, you walk. There were no transport, nothing. You walk all the way to the subway. And then you get attacked and you walk back. Jussie, I would have called the ambulance. I would have called the police. That's true. But I think I would have called the ambulance as well, since I was in the cold, beaten and bleeding. I would have done that. But you did not. And then you walked back. You see, my problem is the walking. Because how do you walk out in a polar vortex and walk back? And you're not, how do you do that? And I'm speaking based on my experience in Europe, because I know that Europe gets pretty cold, right? So I'm speaking from my experience, as someone living in Europe. I want to sit down. I want to put my leg. I'm speaking like someone who's living in Europe. How did you do that? I don't know how that was possible. And that, there were no cars. There were no taxis. How did you do it? Okay. Now, again, like I said, everything, what do you guys think? How do you think he pulled it off? Put it in the comment section. Okay. Now, let's go back to the Chicago PD. Now, everyone, I agree. I mean, the Chicago PD, listening to the plethora of accusations that they have and all the things that have been going on with them, one would have said, okay, well, this calls for, let's stall a bit. But again, the thing is, Jussie is not believable, right? So the Chicago PD may have done a a bunch of crap, right? And it's there, right? But Jussie is is not believable. We can't. It's the story has a lot of loopholes, right? The story has a lot. I'm trying so hard not to laugh because the Osundairo brothers are really messed up. The story has a lot of loopholes, right? And which brings me to the Osundairo brothers. Now, let me tell you something. If you do not know, if you are someone who's Nigerian or you don't know Nigerians, listen, there is something we say, yawa. Yawa means trouble. Kasala go boss. When kasala boss, you see Nigerians, we don't know how to. Nigerians are not going to be doing, I hold you down. What? In Nigeria, what are you talking? In Nigeria is not which level of loyalty is that? So me, I'll now come and go to jail. Now you will not be walking majestically on the road. For what? So if you don't know, as a Nigerian, we don't do jail for people. You don't go to prison for another person. You don't get into trouble for someone else. Point blank period. So you see this thing, you see what the Osundairo brothers did? They're like, hey, see, this is what happened though. You put us in trouble. My parents are alive. My mother is alive. See my armpits. We didn't do anything. And that is why I actually believe those boys, because like I said, they grew up in America. They were born in America, but they do not have American character. The accents, yes, but they don't have American character, because that is typically what Nigerians would do in that kind of situation. You say what? Because uncle, please don't vex. It was a staged thing. And that was exactly what they did. And they just put out everything. Now, what made me even crack up the more was the fact that the other one, I can't remember his name. I remember Ola's name. I can't remember the other guy's name. Abe. That guy is so silly. And he was like, yeah, we're coming out with a book. And he could not remember the title of the book. I just feel like they rode on the back of the popularity, and that was it. Now, Jussie asking what's going on, blah, 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 blah. Omo, at that point, he's all man for himself. Oh, God for us all. What are you talking about? Who you want to look at? Who you want to be seeing their eyes? You are wasting your time. Those boys told you what's up. Nigerian style. Guy, day your day. Make me a day my day. Anyway, so again, like I said, put all your comments in the comment section below. And it is so sad because watching the documentary, that the investigator who was in charge of that, Eddie Johnson, was fired because he was drinking while on the job. Unfortunately, like I said, when village people are pursuing you, and devil, then they are going head to toe with you. They follow you hard. They don't stop. So you have to always be, and it's unfortunate for him though. And I think that also speaks to what the investigation, after came, that was carried out, that was said that Chicago PD had a lot of loopholes that had to be taken care of, and they had a lot of misconduct in their service that had to be looked into. And I think the firing of Eddie Johnson speaks to that fact. Okay, then the fact that they did not bother with the witnesses. I think one of the things was that, if you ask me, was okay, that these people saw two white men. And you see, at the end of the documentary, an experiment was carried out. So there was these two white men. These people saw two white men, right? And one was walking her dog. The other was finishing from work. Now, the thing about it is this, that I feel that while they did say they saw those people, I think identification must have been a problem, would have been a problem. I think that was it in a nutshell. I think identification was going to be the problem. I don't know. But Chicago PD, they are the only ones that know why they did not pursue pursue, that angle. And when the documentary finished, they now hold that video, the lapse that was missing. They hold up that video and asked everyone there whom they saw, including the people who were witnesses. And so, isn't it surprising? And that's why I said what I said, that I think it was a problem of identification. I think it was identification that became the issue. And to now be able, and we now see that everyone, or rather those involved in the case, saw black men. But one of the witnesses who said he saw a white dude said that the person in the video was black. So I think that was the problem there. The inability to correctly identify if those people were black or white. Because I was even, from my own vantage point, I saw black. That person and the build did not necessarily look like that of a white guy. But, again, that's what you're seeing on video, right? So these are the discrepancies that exist or existed. But I think that I believe that Jussie needs to work harder on the story. I think that the missing pieces are still missing, and I think he should work harder on the story. I think that Jussie should I don't know, for whatever reason Jussie did what he did. I think it's at this time that he should be looking at a career comeback and work towards ensuring that this area of his life is done and truly forgotten. Because I was actually shocked when this documentary came up again. And I'm like, I thought we had forgotten about this. And I feel that it wasn't the right move. I feel personally that this documentary wasn't the right thing to do. I think that he could have just let us forget about it, and he moves on and we all move on. My 2 cents. Okay, if you're still here with me up until this moment and you were able to watch my video and you are still here with me, I mean, what are you waiting for? The subscribe button is just below. Click it and be a member of this amazing family. All right. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.